Blown off a mountain, a Coloradan survival story in his own words. Fire and ice, following firefighters on another dry day, and questions about illegal immigration in Denver after our report that a murder suspect had been flagged for deportation. Our quest for correct pronunciation takes us to southern Colorado and a place with a tricky name. Then we see people get high in true Colorado style on Next. As we revel in the warm, dry weather, firefighters cringe, knowing that it turns up the dial on danger from wildfires. The 6th reported fire on the Front Range today has evacuated people near Hygiene. Boulder County Sheriff's Office tells us evacuation orders are in place for Ute Highway east of 6303 to 75th, and also on Rabbit Mountain Road north of Ute Highway. That fire's burning near McCall Lake, and 1 structure has been lost so far. The 5 other fires burned in Lakewood, Centennial, and Weld County. A building was destroyed in one of the fires in Weld County. Fortunately, no one has been hurt in any of the fires today. 2 of them started as controlled burns that got out of control, and the 2 fires in Lakewood are possible arsons. A Coloradan is telling us about being blown off a trail in Rocky Mountain National Park. His hiking partner verifies it. 1 minute, Alan Arnett was there, and the next, his buddy Jim Davidson says Alan was gone. It was a 90-mile-per-hour wind gust. Alan is fortunate to be here to share his story alongside his friend.
My measure of a good expedition is whether I come home having a good experience.
We do it because it makes us become a better version of ourselves.
Got up to Twin Sisters Trailhead, and sure enough, it was blowing, and we both looked at the weather forecast and knew it was going to be windy that day. And Jim, I remember you very clearly saying, said, there's a 10% chance we can make the summit, but there's a 70% chance something may go wrong.
I think it was a very unusual circumstance in this case that the wind was so powerful. I remember we went about 25 yards and the wind was pushing us around maybe 60 miles an hour. We'd put our ski poles down and bend down at the waist and kind of hunker down.
And I'm proud that we made the decision to turn around.
Alan was maybe about 20 yards in front of me or something like that, 25 yards. And I was taking a still photo of Alan, and as I took the picture, over the top of the camera I could just see you, and I saw your red jacket rotate, and then you kind of disappeared.
And my next memory, I have a vivid memory of just being pulled.
It was like the wind just rotated you and threw you off the trail.
Here I was laying on the rocks with, 4 fractures in my lower leg and smashed nasal cavity and everything else.
But there was a lot to be thankful for because Alan could have hit his head. It could have been a lot worse. There was a slight chance that he might have died in that boulder field that day or that night.
When I saw your face after I fell, I knew I would be okay. When they arrived, I knew that we would be okay. I've always respected the search and rescue and the National Park Service Rangers. I think I asked them, how many people are out there? And they said, around 40. And I remember I just choked up and I just started sobbing at the internalizing, how many people are here to help me, help us.
I think I learned how powerful the wind can be and confirmed once again the value in training, the value in picking great partners, the value in carrying the gear, and the value in sticking together when things get tough.
Jim, the hiking partner in that story, he's a bit of an expert on survival. He wrote a book with our Kevin Vaughn from the 9 Wants to Know team. The Ledge details an incident in 1992 on Mount Rainier that killed one of Jim's friends. Might not come as a surprise to you that the family of a man shot and killed at a light rail station in Denver is absolutely livid about the details we first told you about last week on Next. Tim Cruz was shot and killed at 12th and Sheridan 2 weeks ago. His family offered up this first photo of him today. Immigration and Customs Enforcement tells us that one of the 2 men charged for his murder was in this country illegally, and ICE had flagged 19-year-old Ever Valles for deportation months ago after a car theft case. He was subsequently in and out of the Denver jail, and ICE claims that Denver didn't give them enough notice to take Valles into custody. Cruz's family told Chris Vanderveen from our 9 Wants to Know team that they are livid over how the city handled this case, and they believe that Denver let them down. This story may end up drawing national attention. We'll certainly keep you updated first on any developments. Jefferson County is considering whether to allow e-bikes on its trails. Sorry to break it to you, Jeffco, but our Whitney Wild found they're already there.
Jefferson County Open Space is considering allowing Class 1 electronic bikes, that's a bike with a motor, on paths. In our unofficial poll of the only 2 people who agreed to talk to us on camera, hikers were split.
Based on our experience today, I think it'd probably be fine. Everyone's pretty observant of other people on the trail.
I wouldn't be for it. I have kids and it's already hard with regular bikes on the trails.
But when you come out to one of these Jefferson County open spaces, there's a list of things that are banned. And on that list is motor vehicles, which made us wonder, doesn't this count as a motor vehicle? Motor vehicle. Is this a motor vehicle?
I would say no, mainly because you do have to put some assistance to it.
The specific bikes Jeffco is thinking about letting on the trails are electronic assist bikes. Jake Peterson of C3 Bikes showed us how they work.
As you pedal, it will assist you.
You do the work, the bike helps you out by speeding you up.
E-bikes are already on a lot of our trails because the technology is so advanced at this point, it's really tough to identify an e-bike.
And just because it has a motor doesn't make it motorized.
The federal government has classified the pedal assist as a non-motorized or bicycle, so it's not considered a motorized vehicle, it's a bicycle.
For Next, Whitney Wild, 9 News.
There's no timeline for Jeffco's decision on those e-bikes, and for the meantime, there are demo days where people can ride them and then give the county feedback. And speaking from Next's experience, Jeffco, before you ask people for feedback, be real sure you want to get feedback. So this is usually the point on a holiday off from work where I launch into some tedious commentary about appreciating the true meaning of the day. You know, have some respect, take some time to reflect. But you know, it's President's Day, so I mean, we're going to let it slide if you just want to enjoy the day without spending a quiet moment mulling Millard Fillmore, pondering Polk, or hankering for Harrison. And President's Day became an unofficial holiday back in 1800 to mark George Washington's birthday. It wasn't until 1971 that President's Day became the third Monday in February to create our three-day weekend. I hope you enjoyed the day. We know you've had trouble enjoying President's Day because you're so worried sick if you're spelling it correctly. President's Day with an apostrophe between the T and the S? President's Day with the apostrophe after the S? President's Day with no apostrophe? And there's no consensus on this. Merriam-Webster goes with an apostrophe after the S. The Associated Press says no apostrophe. And President Trump says no apostrophe and all caps. So, happy President's Day! Tonight, we're counting down Colorado's 5 biggest moments in presidential politics. Nerd stuff, you know, the kind of nerd stuff we love around here. The man they call Dr. Colorado, history professor Tom Noel, picked the top 5. Number 5, Scandal, the original version, and how Colorado might have prevented it.
Warren G. Harding, in the running for one of the worst presidents we ever had, was elected, bought, and sold by the oil interests who put him up. He was otherwise an obscure senator from Ohio.
The Teapot Dome scandal followed because journalists in Denver were silent.
The original story was going to be broken by the Denver Post, but they were shut up by an oil man involved, Sinclair, and after that there's no more editorial comment in the Post.
Number 4, the hometown girl.
Dwight David Eisenhower, probably the best loved president here in Colorado because he married a local girl, Mamie Dowd.
There are plenty of fish in the sea, but after Mamie, Eisenhower stuck to fishing Colorado's creeks.
He loved coming out here to fish, did it numerous times, I think nearly every year while he was president. He was out up in Grand County fishing in the San Luis Creek.
The 3 biggest Colorado connections to our presidents in just a bit. Tonight, I introduce you to my boss, whose talents include one that's particularly useful today. Where is the easy part for this county in Colorado? It's pronouncing it that's trouble. And after a week of sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns, our weather forecast finally involves something that looks like February. The most Colorado thing we saw today is a beautiful photo from Kaylee Shoresman. You are looking at layer upon layer of Colorado right there, people. Hot air balloon high over Erie sometime last week. Mountains on the balloon, mountains in the background. Makes you want to stand up, put your hand over your heart or something. And that is the most Colorado thing we saw today.
People are talking about fire weather today. Extreme conditions out there with temperatures 20 degrees above average today. We're headed into record territory tomorrow. Single-digit relative humidity values and gusty winds. It was a beautiful sunset. High and mid-level clouds being pushed along by those west to northwest winds. But we need the moisture for eastern Colorado. Our high at 63, way above the average of 47. And tomorrow, I think we'll break the record of 71. The winds right now have been shifting, increasing over some of the higher passes. A trend that will translate to the Front Range and eastern plains tomorrow, where a red flag warning will remain in effect through tomorrow evening. Gusts to 50 miles per hour expected. Not a big change in the pattern until the end of the week. So a dry day tomorrow, a windy and warm day coming up. A few scattered light snow showers in the high country, but snow returns to the high country Wednesday, and rain and snow move into Denver Thursday into Friday. If we're lucky, enough cold air comes in, we might see some light accumulation Friday morning. Tonight, 38 fair skies, breezy and mild. Tomorrow with sunshine, temperatures jumping quickly. We have low 70s that would break another record for the date. Slight cooling trend as we move into Thursday with a little bit of light snow accumulating on Friday morning. Temperatures trending into the 30s for the upcoming weekend, and 4 days with a chance of much needed rain and snow.
Kathy, thanks. No journalist wants to be assigned to do a story on their boss. Awkward sauce, you know? But photojournalist Ann Herbst was happy to take on this next one. She introduces us all to 9 News Assistant News Director Tim Ryan, who today has a timely talent.
When you're a journalist and you can't track anyone down to interview because it's a holiday and it's nice outside, there's always one place where
9 News, this is Megan.
People will be around.
I'm normally working on President's Day.
People like 9 News' assistant news director and history enthusiast Tim Ryan, who luckily for me,
George Washington,
has a President's Day related talent.
I would hesitate to call it a special talent. I can't be the only person who can do this. The icon of the American president, Van Buren, but I can name all of the presidents and the years they served.
All 44 of them.
James Madison.
In order.
I'm not asked to do this very often. Maybe that's another sign about whether it's really interesting or not. Benjamin Harrison. Woodrow John F. Kennedy, who I will describe here as JFK because my arm's about to fall off.
Though this might seem like just another weird party trick.
John Quincy Adams. Polk. James Buchanan.
Or a quirky way to impress a potential mate.
I don't think that would have worked to pick up my wife. In fact, it might have had the opposite effect.
Those things really aren't what this is all about for Tim.
I encourage people to be knowledgeable about history. Behind those names and years are stories that help really describe how we started and then how we evolved and where we are now. Now we have to go to another page. 1913. Lyndon Johnson.
So you have your way of entertaining yourself on days like today.
One term.
And we have ours.
And assumes office in 2017.
For next. Man. This is Ann Herbst.
That was hard work. Now the question is...
You'll be able to check Tim's handwritten list on the next Facebook page. Please check his work for errors. All he does every day is check our work for errors. Please find an error. No offense, Tim. We return to our top 5 Colorado connections to our presidents. At number 3, a young political star accepts the Democratic nomination for president in Denver.
William Jennings Bryan, the candidate in 1908, did not win.
What? Who'd you think we were talking about? Williams Jennings Bryan. You know, you shall not crucify mankind upon a cross of gold.
He was the boy orator from Nebraska and a great favorite with Westerners. He had started out as a populist, favoring the farmers and the working people, the labor unions, all the people who were being neglected by both the Republicans and the Democrats.
Denver loved Bryan because he promised help for the struggling silver mines. The city even brought down snow from the mountains for a summertime snowball fight outside the convention hall. The top 2 Colorado connections to our presidents in a bit. Time to untwist our tongues for another edition of What Do You Say? And this time we tackle another county. It's in the southern part of Colorado, south of Pueblo, right near the Great Sand Dunes National Park. County name starts with an H. Next viewers Jim and Alan want to know how to pronounce it, so we called a cafe with the county in its name to see how the locals say it.
Warfano Cafe. Pronounce it like Warfano. It's Huerfano.
So there it is. It's settled. That's how the locals pronounce it at Warfano Cafe in Walsenburg. Pronounced like as a W. front, not an H. If you've always wondered about how to pronounce the name of a city, a county, a street name, something of that sort, how the locals pronounce it, not how the word origin began 100 years ago some other place. We will sort it out for you. Email next@9news.com or tweet it to us with the hashtag HeyNext. There is a mystery involving Frontier High School that dates back 13 years, when it was Elizabeth High School. And we are hoping a photo rings a bell. Get it? It's going to be a photo of a bell, I promise you. If you've got it, you shouldn't have it because it's stolen from the school. And this happened in 2004, sometime on February 21st, when someone made off with a 300-pound bell. And today, police in Elizabeth posted about it, asking anyone for leads. It's missing, and they do want to clarify something. The statute of limitations for charging someone for bell theft have passed. They just want their bell back. If you know anything, Elizabeth police would love a call. I should remind you, the Colorado Rockies are undefeated. I repeat, the Colorado Rockies are undefeated. Spring training kicked off today, day one of the Rockies full team workout. The players are excited, fans are excited, Trevor Story's healthy again. Yeah, seriously good lineup. And they have new jersey colors, a little lighter purple. So, again, undefeated Colorado Rockies, everybody. May I make a recommendation where I point you towards something that is not ours but is worth your time? 538.com gave a Denver Nugget a big shout out recently. Nikola Jokic, second-year forward, mad skills. The stats make him stand out. He has the third highest plus-minus of all time behind David Robinson and LeBron James in terms of when he is on the floor, which is saying something because, again, he is very young, just starting out in his career. But 538, the people who look at statistics say he could be worth big money in the open market before too long. We encourage you to check out this article on the Next Facebook page. We're counting down Colorado's connections to America's presidents today. Number 2, we give you the moment you probably figured would be number 1. At least that's what I thought before I called history professor Tom Noel. Soon-to-be President Barack Obama strode onto the national stage in his biggest moment yet, with Colorado beneath his feet and the western sky above the heads of a packed crowd at Mile High.
And he was lucky it did not rain that day. In the Mile High Stadium, the nomination and acceptance speech, and seeing the cute little girls and his charming wife there was quite an endearing scene.
A landmark moment in Colorado's history with American presidents, but not number 1 on our list. That's in a moment. And I elect you to have the final word. Your feedback is next. Tonight on Next, we've counted down the top 5 Colorado connections to Colorado. We leave you with number 1.
1876, Colorado gets involved in presidential candidates in a big way.
Republican Rutherford Hayes, Democrat Samuel Tilden, and Colorado was brought in to decide it.
It was close enough that the Senate and the powers that be, the Republicans who control the Senate, agreed to admit Colorado to the Union August 1st, 1876, in time to cast its votes for Rutherford B. Hayes. And that put him over the top. He won the Electoral College, even though, as we've seen more recently, he did not win the popular vote.
This place was born a swing state.
Not that many electoral votes at that time, but it made the big difference.
It's a sign. One spotted in Arvada near the intersection of 52nd and Ward. And gentlemen, I need your full attention on the sign reading, "If at first you don't succeed, try doing it the way your wife told you." That is solid advice. Amanda Brownlee posted this one on the Next Facebook page. If there's a sign that makes you look twice or perhaps consider something as fundamental as your marriage, share it with us so that we can share it with all of Colorado. Just use the hashtag HeyNext or email next@9news.com. We finish with your feedback, and Timmet rightly points out via email, can we perhaps use a more accurate description than controlled burn for some of those out-of-control wildfires today? Excellent point. Firefighters have taught me better. We should have said intentional burn. There is no such thing as a controlled burn, especially on a hot day like this. And some digital feedback on Twitter. Roy G. Biv writes, "Hey, Next, no matter what anyone else says, Kyle is doing an amazing job. Keep Next going." Thanks, I guess, for that. That's fantastic. We'll see you next time.